Good morning. Hi, everyone. Hi, friends. Hopefully you're awake. You didn't stay up too late doing fireworks. We're going to get started with our songs first thing this morning.
Fireworks was last thing.
I know. That's what I said. I hope everybody woke up this morning. They weren't up too late. Let's do our song. Ruby, are you ready? You gotta mute us here.
Before I go, I stop. Before I go, I stop. Before I go, I stop. I don't want my day to flop. Before I go, I stop. Before I run, I walk. Before I run, I walk. Before I run, I walk. I sit with the Lord and talk. Before I run, I walk. And then I go all out beyond any doubt. I want my life to shout, God is alive in me. And then I go all out beyond any doubt. I want my life to shout, God is alive in me. Before I split, I chill. Before I split, I chill. I say, Father, have your will. Before I go, I stop.
I can do anything. I can do all things, 'cause it's you who gives me strength. Nothing is impossible through you. Blind eyes
to, where's my thing? There it is. Welcome to Praise Kids!
Praise God!
Praise God! Oh my goodness, let's see who is here today. Hello, Ruby, you want to come say hi to people? Good morning, Olivia, Paxton, and Toby. Good morning. Thanks for coming, guys. And Mr. J is here. Good morning. Hello. Good morning from Troy and Jamie and Ella. Good morning. Good morning from Pastor Misty. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. I'm not sure who this is, but good morning. Good morning. And good morning, Sharon. Good morning. Let's see who I got. Oh, Ruby, your grandma and grandpa are here. Good morning. Good morning. Ruby, they like your lightsaber. Look, Miss Jody is here. Good morning, Miss Jody. Good morning. Okay.
Thank you, Grandma.
Let's see, who else are here? Mr. Tim. Mr. Tim might be here with Tim and Miss Jess and Hope and Seth. Good morning. I said Tim might be here with Tim. Whoops. All right. Did I miss anybody? If I missed somebody, please let me know. But good morning, everyone. We have a really fun day planned for you this morning. All kinds of things. We are talking about, Mr. Brian. Good morning, Mr. Brian. We are talking about pets. Ruby, remember we're talking about pets? Because our pets are precious to us and they were all created by God. And each of us have unique qualities and characteristics just like those pets do. And we're going to learn from those pets some of those characteristics that we need to have for a godly life. So today we're talking about turtles. Turtles. Who likes turtles? Well, tortoise, turtle. Who likes them? Becky Trayers, good morning, guys. Good morning, Naomi. And I just lost it. Naomi, somebody's got to help me out. Naomi and Tyson. Tyson, good morning, guys. All right. Talk about turtles. You guys like turtles? Are turtles fast? No. Or turtles slow? Slow. They're slow. They don't move very fast. But turtles are persistent. Ruby, you know what that big word just meant? Persistent. Persistent means they just keep working on those goals. They will not give up. They will keep moving until they get to where they need to get to. So when God makes us wait, it's tempting to give up, right? But God wants us to persevere and to never give up on him. So what does that have to do with turtles? Well, we're going to talk about that today. But first, some of us might be wondering, what is a turtle? What is it like to have a pet turtle? I've never had a pet turtle. Have you guys ever had a pet turtle? So I had to go looking for somebody who had a pet turtle to share with us today. And I found somebody through another friend who has a pet turtle, and her name is Vienna. And Vienna is going to share about her pet turtle that she created. A little video helped us out today, and her pet turtle's name is Hercules. Isn't that an awesome name? I love that name for our turtle. So let's take a look. The movie, yes. So let's take a look at Vienna and her turtle, Hercules. Here we go. Let me hide me out.
This is Hercules. I've had him for 4 years and we're both the same age, 13. They eat romaine lettuce, green leafy plants, and strawberries.
He's special to me because I've always wanted a tortoise for a really long time, and I finally got one, and he's so cute and very nice. And he kind of likes to be held and likes to be pat on his shell and on his head.
This is how you pick him up, and then this is how I like to hold him when I'm bringing him places. He likes to be pet mainly on his shell, or if you're lucky, he'll let you pet him on his head, and he really likes that. Sometimes when he's mad at me,
he'll just start walking away. Or if he's hungry, he'll come to the front of his enclosure and just sit there and stare at us. Tortoises like to dig and burrow, and they also really like to climb, which I found really surprising because, like, when you look at them, you don't really think that they're going to be able to climb. Also, he disappeared in our backyard for 4 days, and we were super scared because we didn't know where they had gone. And then we found him. His enclosure. Right now he's under his heat lamp, and then there's his food dish right behind him. Over that's his little hut that he likes to sleep in, and back there is his water dish, but they don't really drink water, they get their water through their food, so he really just like goes in there sometimes and just sits. And that's all. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Vienna. Oh my word, I'm so glad she was able to send us that video. She did such a great job. Her and her mom worked on that for us and did an awesome job. All right, well, we're going to continue with our turtle series. And this curriculum, guys, came with a really cool game. And typically in Praise Kids, we play some really awesome games. But this game was really, really hard for us to do in this virtual format. So I contacted 3 of our friends to see if they would play this game for us this week and see how it goes and send us a video of how that goes. You can't sit here and you're gonna fall off. Okay, so we contacted Andrew, Kaylee, and Lexi to play this game. So here's how this game works. And you guys can try this at home later today and see if you can do this challenge. You're going to be a turtle, okay? So you're gonna need a box. Or in the Schollenberger's case, they used tin roasting pans. They tried that first. They said the boxes were a little hard. But you know what, guys? I think you're going to see that the tin roasting pans were also pretty hard. So you're going to use those boxes or those pans or maybe a lid, a trash can lid. You're going to use that as a shell. So you're going to get on all fours, which means you're going to get on your hands and your knees, and you're going to put that shell, that box or that item that you picked out on your back. And there's going to be a start line and a finish line. And you need to see if you can get to the start line to the finish line on your hands and knees with that shell on your back without it falling off. Because if it falls off, bless you, if it falls off, it depends how hard the game is. Technically, you're supposed to start over. This one was pretty challenging, so they got to stay in their spot and put it back on and continue going. So let's see how Andrew, Kaylee, and Lexi did with this game.
Lexi was pretty.
Well, you know what, guys? We have learned in Praise Kids that sometimes the games that are the activities that are provided don't always go as planned. But man, give it up for those Schollenberger kids because they really worked hard. Miss Danielle, their mom told me they worked for about 20 minutes trying to get that together. So they really hung in there and they really looked like they had a lot of fun. Ruby has already told me she wants to play that game later today. But guys, just like in that game, just like they worked it, we got to keep on following Jesus. Sometimes we need to be really patient like the turtle, right? And we get really slow, right? Patience is really slow sometimes. So we need to take our time and keep talking to God, and he will answer when that time is right. All right. So now we're going to visit. I think Miss Jody has something she would also like to share with us today about taking our time and being slow like a turtle. So let me find Miss Jody here. Here we go.
Let me ask you this. When it's time for dinner and there's nothing cooking already, what do your parents do? Maybe they'll grab something from the pantry and they'll throw it on the stove. Or maybe they'll pull something from the freezer and just pop it in the microwave. Oh, and better yet, maybe they'll load everyone up in the car and just head to McDonald's. I'll tell you what they won't do. They won't reach for a crock pot. Now, crock pots are the kind of opposite of microwaves. You know, one is for heating food very quickly, while the other is for heating food very slowly. So if mom or dad wants to cook something for dinner in a crock pot, they better start it in the morning, or your dinner won't be ready until after midnight. Now, it almost seems silly in our fast food world to use crock pots. But the truth is, crock pots cook better food that's even better for you. So they may be slow and steady, but the food that they cook is definitely worth the wait. You know, guys, following Jesus can kind of feel like crock pot cooking at times. You know, sometimes things don't move as quickly as we want them to, but when God is leading us, his way is always worth the wait. So don't get discouraged when God doesn't answer prayer. Keep asking, keep seeking, keep on keeping on. God will always answer you, even though sometimes that answer...
Sorry about that black screen, guys. A little bit of a technical difficulty, but hey, we got it rolling, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit more about turtles because they are so slow, right? That's what we've been talking about. That makes them the subject of jokes sometimes because it's one of their most endearing qualities. After all, a turtle will never run out the front door, down the street like a dog, right? Turtles can't get very far very fast. So there's never any trouble keeping up with them, though they can be sneaky, just like Vienna shared, and they can get lost sometimes if we don't keep our eyes on them. So despite their slowness, you see a turtle never gives up. If a turtle has someplace it has to be, he'll get there. He just gets there a little slower than most creatures. So turtles move slowly towards shelter, towards water, and toward their food, but they always get where they are going. They don't let their slowness become an excuse. They keep on walking. They persevere, and they get where they are going eventually. It's interesting that God would make a creature so slow as a turtle because the turtle has a lot to teach us about following God. Turtles are patient. Turtles don't get discouraged. And And turtles never give up on their goals. How many of us can say the same about ourselves? When things don't go the way we planned, or they don't move as quickly as they are that we want them to go, we get discouraged, right? And sometimes we even give up. But when we are pursuing God, we need to resist the urge to quit. We need to press on. We need to trust God will answer us. So Jesus told a parable. Remember, we talked about parables before, stories that he told us about this kind of persistence. And the story is a woman who would just not take no for an answer. So let me see here, guys. I've got a little video. Rippy, do you want to come see this video? All right, here we go. Oh, I need to move this like.
The Edge, a story that Jesus told. This is Edith. Edith is a widow. In Jesus' time, widows had almost no rights and were not valued by other people. Her neighbor tricked her out of $500. Edith desperately needed this money to survive. There is a judge in her town. Sadly, this judge does not care for people or for God. The widow is going to ask this man for justice in regards to her enemy. Every day, Edith comes to the judge asking him for justice, and every time he sends her away. After trying this for many weeks, the judge finally gives in and gives Edith the justice that she wanted. Jesus praises Edith for her persistence. He tells his listeners to also faithfully ask God for things for the sake of his kingdom. For if the unjust judge will finally give justice, how much more will God, who is a good Father, give us what we ask from him?
So the hero in Jesus's parable was that widow. So the widow was a nobody. She was demanding justice from a judge who didn't believe in God. And the judge didn't care what anybody thought about him. And he seems to only really care about himself. He's the kind of man who only granted favors for people who could pay for them. A widow would have no chance of getting an audience with him, let alone justice. But because this woman was so persistent, the judge granted her wish. So God's really not like the judge in this story. God cares about us, and he loves us all enough to send Jesus to die for us. And Jesus said, if a man who doesn't care about God would answer the plea of a widow, how much more will God answer ours? You know what, friends? God sometimes makes us wait. Right? Sometimes we get discouraged. But Jesus tells us clearly that we should never give up, but be persistent in following him. So one of the reasons so many people give up on God is that they think he's just not listening. When God doesn't answer us right away, or when he doesn't answer a prayer the way that we hoped, some people think he doesn't care, or worse, that he really isn't there. They give up hope and they give up on God. Have you guys ever had to really wait on something? I mean, like wait on something and it was frustrating. I mean, I know you guys have to wait for Christmas. You have to wait for your birthdays. We have to wait for some other things. But let's see. Let's think if we can think of something else. I mean, you think it's never going to get here. It's going to take forever. That's how Ruby says it. Forever, right? I don't know about you, friends, but waiting for this virus to go away so that we can do the things that we want, so that we can visit the people that we want, so that we can hug the people that we want. so we can shop the way that we want, right? It's so hard waiting and waiting and waiting. It feels like it's never going to go away, right? That's how I feel sometimes. So God does make us wait, but he always has a reason. And God is teaching us patience, but he does so much more than that. God uses our time of waiting to teach us about ourselves, and he prepares us for what is next, and he shapes us into the people he wants us to be. So waiting isn't a time to be discouraged. It's a time to be thankful. And God is working on us. And when he does answer, when he does show us why all these things are happening, we will be ready for that answer because of the work God has done in us. So the hungry turtle knows that it will never be fed if it gives up chasing its food. The thirsty turtle knows it will never quench its thirst if it lies down and just gives up. So if we stay persistent and praying for God's will and seeking after him, God will satisfy us just like the food that satisfies the hungry turtle. And God will strengthen our faith, and he will use us to show others that God can satisfy our needs. No one likes to be made to wait. I can promise you that nobody likes it. But the last thing we should do is give up on God. Keep praying. Keep reading the Bible. Keep seeking the answers that you want. God will answer you because he loves you. It's just sometimes those answers are just not the ones that we think we want to hear. That's the tricky part. So we're going to go ahead and say our prayer. Ruby, you want to come say the prayer with us? Ruby's going to do the whole thing. We're going to repeat after Ruby. So come over here. You need to come over here so they can see you. You're right there. You see it? We're going to bow our heads and close our eyes. Coming up here. Okay.
Dear God,
Dear God,
give us
a
strong faith
so we
never give up.
So we never give up. Following you. Hear
our prayers.
Hear our prayers.
And help us
to be
patient
as we wait.
Your answers.
We love you, God.
We love you, God.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Ruby. Well, you know, guys, we've talked a lot about how hard it is to wait. But have you ever had to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for something, and the day finally comes and you don't actually get the thing you were waiting for? Did you ever have that happen to you?
Like forever.
Mr. Brian is going to read a story for us.
Who Wants a Tortoise?
It's called Who Wants a Tortoise? She's right. He's going to read this story about a little girl who waited her whole life to get a puppy. And when that day finally arrived, she didn't get a puppy. And she was really, really frustrated. So let's see what happens in this story. Ruby, I need you to back up so I can reach here. Okay, let's see here.
Who Wants a Tortoise by Dave Keene, illustrated by K.G. Campbell. I've been waiting my whole life to get a puppy, a rascally guy with a waggly tail. I make lists of cute dog names. I read about training puppies. I dream of all the adventures I'll have with my trusty dog at my side. A puppy is the only thing I want for my birthday. But the present with the holes in the top doesn't have a puppy in it. What is that? Whispers Sasha. She has a golden retriever. Is it dead? Asks Emily. She has a Dalmatian. It's a tortoise, says Eric, who's an expert on gross stuff. That's a reptile. It has cold blood. He has a wiener dog. A tortoise, I croak. Who wants a tortoise? I don't cry until I open Sasha's present. After everyone leaves, Daddy says he's told me 1,000,000 times that he's allergic to dogs. Did you ever think I might be allergic to a dumb tortoise, I shout? You never get timeouts because of a dog. I don't have a list of cute tortoise names, so I don't name him anything. Hey, you tortoise! He doesn't seem to mind, but it's impossible to tell what a tortoise is thinking. I decide to see what my new lump of a pet can do. Fetch, boy, fetch! Tortoises don't fetch anything. They also do not like rolling over. But when it comes to playing dead, my tortoise is an expert. Unlike dogs, tortoises will not lick your face. Give me a kiss. Or beg for bologna. Who wants a treat? Come on, boy, jump. And they do not get excited when you come through the door. I'm home. At least a tortoise doesn't squirm when you play makeover. I do his nails with sparkling raspberry delight. You shouldn't use a glue stick on such a majestic creature, but he looks like a princess. Mommy and I both make our mad faces for the rest of the day. I think my tortoise is mad too, but it's still impossible to tell what he's thinking. Grammy and Grandpa come for a visit and bring me a birthday present, a tortoise book. Tortoises have been around since the dinosaurs. Whoa, that's even older than you. My book says a tortoise like mine was the first reptile to go into space. So I make my tortoise a spacesuit. He actually looks kind of brave. If a tortoise can fly into space, going for a walk should be easy. But there's no place for the leash. Nothing a little duct tape can't fix. It turns out tortoises are actually pretty good at some things. When Sasha and I have a lemonade stand, we also sell chances to hold a real-life tortoise. We sell more tortoise than lemonade. Eric and I set up a racetrack. My guy wins by a mile. On sharing day at school, my tortoise poops on Brendan's desk, which is totally great. Dumb turtle, he says. How dare you, I say. Tortoises hate being called turtles. Besides, everyone knows turtles live in water and tortoises live on land. They do, he says. I discover there's one thing tortoises are too good at. Hide and seek. After 20 minutes, we start to panic. How can a tortoise run away? He may be slow, but he's very steady. Do tortoises even have ears? Yes, he can hear, but he doesn't listen. Here, tortoise, tortoise, tortoise! We shout 1,000,000,000 times, but a tortoise almost never comes when you call. We knock on everyone's door. He looks like a rock, but with long, sparkly pink toenails. We hang 50 signs and offer our lemonade money for a reward. Maybe he dug underground to hibernate till spring. What is he thinking? He'll miss Christmas and everything. When it gets dark, I set out a plate of butter lettuce, which is like chocolate chip cookies to a tortoise, and I leave the porch light on just in case. Days go by. I put fresh butter lettuce out every night. I can't sleep with my poor little tortoise out in the big world all by himself, with only his shell to protect him. He never made any noise, but the house seems quieter without him. A week later, Mommy happens to mention that Mrs. Gilbert down the street thinks a rabbit is nibbling her turnips and cabbages. I'm out the door so fast I forget to swallow my spaghetti. You naughty little tortoise, I shout. Don't worry, I tell Mrs. Gilbert. This rascally guy with the waggly tail belongs to me. Somebody is extra shy about all the attention at his welcome home parade. We celebrate by painting our toenails sparkling raspberry delight. That night, after we settle down in our beds, the whole house feels quiet, but this time, it's a tortoise kind of quiet. Just before I fall asleep, I remember my favorite name on my list of cute dog names. It's Perfect. Good night, Rover, I say into the darkness. Then I dream of all the adventures I'll have with my trusty tortoise at my side.
What do you think of that story? You know, friends, that little girl was asking for something she wanted, but instead received something else. After some time, she realized that something else was something pretty incredible. Sometimes that's how God answers prayers. We think we know what we want and we know what's best and what we need. And when we insist that God make that happen for us, sometimes God knows what we need even better and provides something different than what we were expecting. Sometimes that can feel a little frustrating, but God always provides in a way he feels is best. And oftentimes we later realize that the way that God wanted things and that answer that he gave us was the right way all along. So waiting and moving slowly is really hard. We live in this fast food, high-speed internet world, and that makes it harder than ever to wait on God. But remember, God will answer in his own time. He is always listening, which reminds me of one of our Praise Kids songs, that God is always listening, right? So Ruby is ready. Let's do this. Let's get this up here.
He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening. 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 He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening. 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 God knows every word before you even say it. He hears every prayer before you even pray it. So let him hear you now. Let him hear you shout. He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening. 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 He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening. 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 God knows every word before you even say it. He hears every prayer before you even pray it. So let him hear you now. Let him hear you shout. He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening. 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 He knows you. He knows you. He loves you. He loves you. God is listening. 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 Listening.
Dad is always listening. We need to be patient like turtles and get someplace sometimes really slow, but that could be really, really sweet. Thanks for coming and visiting with us today, guys. Had a really good time talking about turtles. Thank you for everyone who helped with our lesson today. Really appreciate it. We hope that you will join us later today at 10:15, about 45, half hour, 30 minutes, for LCOB worship service on YouTube. Hopefully you will join us then. Have a great Sunday, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.